Hi everyone, I'm Paul, I'm an addict. So this is a grand finale, but it's not a finale. We're going to have his memory, his thoughts in our minds and in our hearts for the rest of our lives. So this is a celebration of life. LSU won yesterday, so it started off very well. I'm sure he had something to do with that. So, we begin with a prayer. Our prayer. The serenity prayer, which we need in this time. So, a moment of silence for everyone, including Jerry. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And boy, did Jerry have that wisdom. Everyone received a program as you were coming in. This is a couple of housekeeping things. I just want you to take a look through. Jill and the team did a very good job putting this together, so thank them for that. On the last page, there's a couple of QR codes. One says heartbeat, because if anything, Jerry was the heartbeat of our fellowship here in Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Kentucky, Texas, Arkansas, North Carolina. He was a heartbeat, and this will put you in touch with his heartbeat. Under that is the salute. So you might want to go on there at some point today and just kind of share that with yourself so that we can remember him and kind of plant those memories with us. On behalf of the fellowship, we want to thank the family for allowing this and for participating in this. And I want to say a special hello to Miss Helen, Jerry's sister, who is here, Greta, his niece, Clarissa, his great-niece, Alasia, his great-great-niece, Alfred Jr., his great-great-nephew, and Daisy, Maria, Alicia, Carolyn, and Morris, his cousins. Welcome to this celebration. Now, Jill will come up and read Jerry's wishes. Coming up, Jill.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Okay. It's an honor to be here with y'all today as we celebrate Jerry's life. A few years ago, Jerry came to me during one of our parties and made this request. You all know his way with his iconic smile and chuckle. He put his hands on my shoulder and said, "Jill, I have a favor to ask you." I replied, "Of course, Jerry, what is it?" He said, "When it is my time to go, I want a party to celebrate my life, surrounded by my loved ones." Jerry continued, "I don't want a religious service or pastor. I want to be celebrated with a party, open mic, and my friends sharing stories about our time together." I laughed and told him, "You got that, friend. It's going to be the biggest party ever." We ended with a hug and continued on with the party we were actually having at that moment. Following that conversation, Jerry wrote and emailed more details to his beloved daughter, Nikki, Nikki's husband, Ed. And this is what he emailed, quote, "Pray all is well with all. Sending this because I want to ask that you safeguard this as my last wishes. Hard subject to be all about. If I've given you or Nikki previous wishes, please disregard them. I'll be short and to the point. I want an open mic type ceremony, no religious minister type. One that you contact a friend of mine from Theater Baton Rouge. Her name is Carol Moore. Ask her to sing the songs Tears in Heaven. Contact my niece Greta Kimball. She will inform rest of family. Believe I've covered everything. Nikki is my contact person in case of emergency. Any questions or not clear on something, please call me. Hard thing to write. Something I feel I needed to do. Love, Jerry. Thank you for allowing me to share Jerry's last wishes.
So Jerry's adopted family is here, and it's fitting that we start with the eulogy from Ed. Ed, come on up.
Hey everybody, my name is Ed. I'm an addict. I'll try to do this without crying, so we'll see how well that goes.
Take your time.
There are legends, then there are the legacies they leave behind. Jerry was a living legend in many ways for a lot of people, and was so for a long time. While most, if not all of us, could ascribe a wide variety of meaningful descriptions to the legend that he was, Jerry may be best described as a heroic man who overcame extraordinary odds by giving meaning to his circumstances through the gift of hope he so selflessly gave, which afforded so many of us one more meaningful relationship than what we had before. Jerry surely must have outlived the time that Minnie gave him, perhaps by 30 years or more. And that's no small matter. However, the remarkable part of Jerry's story is not so much the odds that he overcame as the miracles made possible by his gratitude for relationships. Most of you know that he was sterile due to Agent Orange from serving in Vietnam. That was on top of falling into addiction and even falling out of a shot down helicopter. His sterility would prevent him from ever fathering children. And one can imagine how difficult a reality that must be to accept. Yet, Jerry would tell you that God merely had other plans. For it must have been by divine grace that he would ask this young woman to dance. That woman also had more than her fair share of odds to overcome. One of the greatest of those odds is that she would never know her father. Perhaps she would say that God had different plans for her too. At the time, neither of them knew exactly why, but they knew what kind of relationship it would not be. I was hoping y'all get that. Time and fate would gradually reveal to them exactly what kind of relationship it was. And this would be made most evident the day he walked her down the aisle to give her away. In the only way that could be done properly. and that is as a father. Despite the odds, perhaps because of those odds, Jerry and Nikki gained a vital kind of relationship that was denied them for some time. A father-daughter relationship is quite extraordinary, and this made Jerry's life complete. In his eyes, at this point, he had already won. But again, it seems as though God had other plans still yet. In a PF Chang's in Jackson, Mississippi, Nikki handed Jerry some ultrasound photos, introducing him to his future granddaughter. Bella would come to know him as Papa Jerry. Life would once again prove to him that if we persist, if we hang on, if we have hope, if we can tolerate others loving us against our will until we can willingly accept love, if we could be grateful in spite of our suffering, we can participate in an extraordinary story. A story of innocence, great falls, redemption, and salvation. That was Jerry, the legend. And let us be grateful for the opportunities to have witnessed that. But now we have a different opportunity to honor his legacy, and to do so based on the implications of our own lives. So what does it mean to honor someone's legacy? To illustrate this, let's consider one of the many inspirations from the Christian tradition, the imitation of Christ. The imitation of Christ is not to be taken as copying Christ's life, but instead living our lives as truly as he lived his in all its implications. And that is quite an inspiration. Jerry's legacy is that he lived his life as fully as possible in all its implications. The war, addiction, sterility, recovery, relationships, service to society, Nikki, and of course, Bella. His legacy is sourced in his achievements of sticking with all of those significant events in his life, both painful and joyful, and embracing the impact they had on how his story was shaped. Jerry's legacy is an inspiration to not only live, but to live a life of purpose based on the implications of our lives. Therefore, we must go in search of those implications, which means we explore the painful and joyful events that persist in their impact on each of us, to see how this ultimately brings suffering, and strive to give it meaning in all our affairs. And perhaps one thing that you will have never heard from me, and after this never will, go Tigers.
And now we'd like to do a visual representation of what Jerry leaves behind in this fellowship. I invite everyone of his sponsorship tree to come up on stage, and Lee P. will read some words from Iron Bill presenting the Infinity Medallion to Jerry.
Hello, I'm Liam, an addict. Hey. I'm very grateful to be an addict. It's good to see all you guys. I love the way Ed finished, but Ed, I can't do it.
You can.
I won't do it. Jerry knew that too. He knew it. So, I get the honor and privilege to share words from Jerry's sponsor, Iron Bill. I think he's on here. Hey, Bill, we love you. Wish you could have been here. Bill, from me. And if you look across the stage, this is just a portion of the lives that Jerry has touched either directly or through his wisdom, as Ed so eloquently put it, passed through sponsorship. So Bill, I hope I can do this justice for you.
He said thank you.
Right on. Jerry earned his one-year medallion on April 14th of 1984. Every year thereafter, he was presented a medallion with the corresponding number of years clean imprinted on the medallion. It was presented to him by his sponsor and/or a member of his home group. The presentation of medallions are more than just a token of personal accomplishment. They are also a celebration and validation of recovery. These medallions offer hope to addicts who want to get clean. The term clean has a deeper meaning than just a time of abstinence from using drugs. It represents a way of life which includes ongoing growth in the areas of service, society, self-improvement, and spirituality. Jerry's life was a testament to this in each of those areas. I know he had a special arrangement with the God of his understanding. He vowed to do everything on his part to live a clean life, and when that was not enough, he relied on his higher power to see him through. This infinity medallion represents the culmination of that agreement. Jerry had the highest regard for these medallions. Therefore, on behalf of his entire NA family, it is our honor to present this infinity medallion to the custodians of Jerry's remains, medals, and ultimately his legacy. We love you, brother. Go in peace.
We will now present the medallion to his family. And especially his sister, Miss Helen. Also, we want to acknowledge Don, who's in the back in a wheelchair, would be up here, but they didn't have an access that we could easily get to. But Don, you were with us in spirit. We love you. Yeah, got that. Yeah. One more thing, there are two sign-in books. Please make sure that you do both. one family, one fellowship, but do both of them so both sets of people know who attended this celebration of life. So make sure that you do that for both of those signings. Now we'd like to invite Pam up to read from the New Orleans area service story that pertains to Jerry. Pam, come on up. By the way, at one of Jerry's birthdays, he was particularly fond of this dress.
Jill shared that Jerry wanted a party. So, what is that music for Jerry? Just joking, y'all. To his family, thank you for sharing Jerry with us. And to Nikki, his other family, love you. And I know he loves you more. When COVID hit, I met Jerry in the New Orleans area. I came 2 years after Jerry, and I would watch him a lot, and I knew if he was in the meeting, I was in the right place. You know, I didn't say much, I just paid attention. And when COVID hit in New Orleans, everything was, there were no physical anything. And our 43rd anniversary celebration, it was nearing that month, and I knew, like, we were antsy. Everybody, it was like so separated, sort of trying to just survive during COVID. And I remember thinking, I'm like, maybe we can do an anniversary online and bring everyone together. And I remember being online in it worldwide, and I saw ladies celebrating 46 years clean. And I said, hey, congratulations, because that's what I do. I thought she was a family member, but a stranger. And I noticed Lee P. I never told him this. He also said happy anniversary on that online. And I thought, I'm like, wow, that's strange. But I just thought, maybe he did know her, but I was just saying congratulations just because I'm like that. I'm just a happy person. And later on, Jerry sent me, or someone sent me a text saying, this lady is celebrating 46 years at Awaken the Spirit. And I thought, what if that's the same lady I randomly said congratulations to? So I'm like, I will be at that meeting and I'm paying attention. And I told everyone in New Orleans that I could, because I kept forwarding the text. And I think her, but I call him my boss. So I said, boss, you know, I told him what happened. So we were on the meeting, and come to find out, that was the same lady, Kathy, that started the New Orleans area. So of course, we must have a meeting where people can share how the area started. And we had no clue what it would be. But I just felt that it was an opportunity. I never knew how it started. And Bill was the keeper of all things New Orleans area. And whenever something happened, we ran to Bill. And with Katrina, he lost everything. So I'm like, this is an opportunity to do something and celebrate the best way we could. And I tell you, me and Boss Herbert started calling people, and we asked Nancy S., and we asked whoever we could. There were some members that was there back then that we forgot, because it was like a sudden thing to get it together. So we forgot George, we forgot many people, and for that, claiming to my head, not my heart. But Jerry was in the book, and I'm like, I am so happy he got to tell his story in a book, and Bill and Nancy, and it was important that our new people, as well as some of the old people, because there were things I learned that evening that I didn't know. And as I listened to them, I had goosebumps. And I felt their struggle, and I felt the love. To get to Jerry's, this is Jerry S. story in the New Orleans area history book. And the New Orleans area was started in 1978 by Kathy. And I'm Jerry S. I'm an addict, and I am grateful for you all. When I found out that there would be a celebration of the New Orleans area, I started looking around to see if I had any memorabilia from those days, but a lot of it was lost during Hurricane Katrina. So most of what I have is from my recall from memory. Thinking about Kathy M., who started the area, and Iron Bill, who came before me, is kind of like a walk down memory lane. I know those two guys from my early period. I'm talking about Narcotics Anonymous being brand new. And I'm talking about New Orleans having 3, 4, 5 meetings, and that was all that was happening back then. We're talking about the program in the infancy in the South, especially in cities like this, was around the time when I grew up. We went to meetings that we had, and we have our functions, we'll have dances, talent shows, softball tournaments, and all kinds of stuff. The literature was starting to become more plentiful at that time. By the time I got here in 1983, the basic text was being introduced to the fellowship. It was not widely available in the South at that time. Everybody was signed in each other's books, convention t-shirts, and banners. We would write our names and clean dates on them. I remember coming into the meeting and feeling like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get along in this fellowship in the 80s, because race was still a big issue in the South. And we were all young. But we were still staying clean. I remember sitting in a men's meeting Monday at our place. A guy came in and said, I'm gay. And in front of all the men present there in 1984, 85. Being gay was not that legal in New Orleans at that time. And everybody learned how to love him and said, come on, man, you're a part of what we do. It was an example of our higher power being in the middle of our ignorance and our prejudice, saying, we're going to bring you together anyway. Going to teach you how to love and tolerate people, and what it means when it says in the basic text, no matter what, you are here because that is where you belong. The thing is, if you keep coming to these meetings, you'll find a person who fits for you. And there'll be sponsors, and there'll be friends, and there'll be whatever you need. Over the years, I've learned that this is a program where the impossible becomes possible daily. The last thing, as a direct result of the program of Narcotics Anonymous and being a member of this great New Orleans area, I received a phone call from the U.S. Olympics asking me if I would do the honors of carrying the Olympic flame. We're talking about an addict who struggled to stay clean in the U.S. Olympics called him. This was truly one of the greatest moments of my life. You can go anywhere you want to go, be anything you want to be as a part of this program. But most of all, you will gain freedom from addiction. Last but not least, if there's one place where love overcomes hate, where good takes the place of bad, it's in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. And Jerry was, for me and countless others, he wasn't perfect. And you know, I've been knowing him for 36 years. I know that. But he was perfect for us. Thank you for letting me share. And I want to present this book that I highlighted with some of Jerry quotes to his family. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. That was great. I didn't get here till '88, so I wasn't the gay guy then. But I'll tell you what. I walked into our place, and there were men coming up to hug me, and I was like, I'm in the right place. And I wasn't skinny, but I was a little kid from the suburbs, and this huge, big, black man came towards me, so imposing, and then that smile and that laughter, and those arms came around me, and he said, welcome home. And as Mr. Frost said, it has made all the difference. And when Jill called me about this, I can't say no. He did that for countless people, countless. So we're going to take an intermission here for about 15 minutes for all of those who have not given up the addiction of smoking. We do recover. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Thank you.
Hey, Michelle.
Jill, you want to get everybody back in, please? All right, everybody, welcome back to the second portion of the Celebration for Life for Jerry. Absolutely. So he was pretty specific about the next part of this. This lady is a dear friend of his, and I know that he is having that big, broad smile in heaven right now because he loves her voice, and he loves this moment. So without further ado, it is my honor to introduce Miss Carol Moore, Tears in Heaven.
it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Would you hold my hand if I saw you in heaven? Would you help? Yeah.
Love you, Carol.
Through night and day, I'll find my way, for I know I just can't stay here in heaven. Time can break you down, time can bend your knees. Time can break your heart, leave you begging please, begging beyond the door, there's peace, I'm sure, and I know there'll be no more tears in heaven. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would you be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Carol Moore. All right, now the other part that he wanted was the open mic part. So anybody who put their name on that list, please come up and take a seat in one of the chairs here up on the stage. Probably best place to come up these stairs right on the side. So we are here to celebrate a life well lived. And how do you know you have a life well lived? When you have to have a theater to have it in. Right? So thanks to Carol and the staff here for doing that, and thanks to everybody who did all the work. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but just kind of file on in and take your seat. Take your seat anywhere you want. You know you're gonna do the front row in that outfit. You don't wear a suit like that and not get in the front row, trust me.
I was asking to dance while she was saying.
Is everybody up here? Nope, nope. All right, so I'm gonna call people up. It probably won't be in the order that you signed up, so don't panic. Oh, they skipped me. No, I'm gonna get to everybody who's up here. Is there anybody else who, I have 4 chairs. Does anybody else want to come up here that didn't sign up? 3 chairs. No, 1 up here, 4. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna ask you to do about 3 minutes for you long sharers. There'll be a bell, there'll be a, I don't know, like the Apollo, I'll have a cane that'll come off the side and pull it right on. Once you share, please go back and take your seats in the theater. The last person to share up here, well then we'll go to some words from the family and then our conclusion from his daughter. So that's how this will go for the rest of the afternoon. All right, first up will be Melissa. Melissa's gonna come up and share.
So I'm not really sure how to start this off, so I'll start with, my name's Melissa and I'm an addict. And I'm just gonna share a little bit about Jerry. So, you know, when we come in, we see the differences, or at least I did, I'll just speak for me. And I came in reeling from war, and I heard Jerry share about it. And so I found identification with him. And he always supported me and encouraged me, pulled me into service. And right shortly before he had passed, and I was gonna do this speaking at the jail for the women, and he was hosting the event, and I was just gonna go and, you know, do what I had to do so I could be of service. And he called me like 10 minutes before it started and said, "Hey, I need you to help." And it just stands out to me so much, like that he thought that much of me, that I came to mind for him to want my help. And that's the type of encouragement and belief in people that he had, and it really meant a lot to me. And when I was out there, me and Jerry would have had nothing in common, you know, but like, he's one of the examples that has taught me that we all have common ground here, no matter where we come from, no matter what we look like. And he's just such a wonderful man, and one of my favorite memories. That I have with him is like recovery on the river, like not this last one, but the one before. We just had like spent the day. Like we were riding around in his car with the little LSU banners and just talking about like regular life. And before he died, I got to tell him that I was going to LSU now. And that means a lot to me. And that's all I got. Thank y'all for being here. Go Tigers.
Thank you, Melissa. Michelle, come on up.
Hey y'all, I'm an addict named Michelle. Or as Jerry lovingly called me, Shelly. And he is about the only person that gets away with that. So, I know from my heart and from reading everyone's testimonies and listening to stories since August the 24th when he passed, that Jerry had the unique gift of when he was with you one-on-one, you knew that he was totally with you, and that he made it a priority to learn something about each one of us personally and remember that. I have so many stories with him, of him. He taught me the way. He was in the rooms in Mississippi when I got clean. And he has been that constant in my life the whole time. I miss him dearly. And I love him dearly. And he taught me how to love another human being, especially a man, how to love another man and it not be sexual and it not want anything in return other than that friendship, that connection. And I will leave y'all with this. Whatever Jerry spoke to your heart, whatever flame he inspired you to do, make sure that you take it and live according to whatever lesson he taught you. And one more thing, and this is very important to me, is that I learned from him that no matter what life comes, no matter what storm he puts in front of me, I don't have to use, and I will get through it. And at the end of that will be a beautiful rainbow. So y'all, thank y'all for letting me share.
I want to bring up his dear friend Roy. Come on up, Roy.
Y'all, I'm an addict named Roy. And I don't know, I've been telling people all week, I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I thought about one of my favorite Jerry stories. He told me, this was way back when we first met. He said, you know, I'm from downtown, I'm from down there in the 7th Ward, 6th Ward, and 7th Ward, and Jerry was more like an uptown ruler. And he hung out over there on Rampart and the Rattle by Sam's. And he was the guy who, when you put your paper money in your pocket, but you put about a quarter or 50 cents in your hand, you know he's gonna beg you when you go outside. But I remember one time he told me a story about the 6th district, that's up there in the 6th district, police district. And he told me one day one of the officers in the 6th district came and told him, he said, Jerry, you on this corner every day. He said, now I come on duty at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow evening, I'm gonna come here at 7 o'clock. And if you on this corner, I'm gonna take you to jail. And sure enough, following evening, police officer came and there was Jerry. He said, put your hands behind your back. And he took Jerry to jail. But Jerry said, but Roy, see, what he didn't know was I had to be there. See, I had to be there. See, he didn't know that. That's what the police officer didn't know. And my whole world, the only time I left that corner most time was to get to the methadone clinic at 5 o'clock in the morning with the rest of the day. And I was able to relate to that. See, I can relate to being stuck on a corner, whatever. I was downtown stuck on Galvez and Orleans, as a matter of fact. But anyway, that's one of my favorite stories, and that was one of the things that drew me to him. So yeah, I think since you know how to be stuck on the corner, I think we could hang together in recovery, and we did. And we did. We did. Every day, we did. We did something together every day. We called each other all day. I just wish if I could tell him something today, I would say, Jerry, I wish I could take back all those times during the middle of the day when I was in my office working and the phone rang and I looked at the phone and saw Jerry's name on the phone. And I wish I could take back all those times. I said, man, I ain't got time to talk with Jerry. Jerry don't work. Yeah, and but I wish I could take back all those times. In closing, I brought along a medallion also, an infinity medallion, to symbolize that Jerry is now clean for eternity. And I would like to present this infinity medallion to Ed, Nikki, and Bella.
Thank you, Roy. I'm gonna go back here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank God for getting unstuck, huh, Roy? Thank you. We're not stuck anymore. I appreciate that. Let's bring up. Oh, good. Let's bring up Lori. Lori, come on up and say a few words, please.
Hey y'all, I'm an addict. My name's Lori. Stand with tiptoes. Yeah. So I've known a lot of you guys, and I've known Jerry since he had hair. So that's how long I've been around, you know. And I've had a couple relapses, and Jerry was always one of the ones that called me and said, you know, are you coming back? Are you okay? And keep coming back, and I did. And so I had, and you know, he used to call me, because I don't work either. Y'all know that. And he'd call me and say, okay, November 5th, you're coming to my house and you're going to drive me to such and such convention. And he'd go, oh, is that okay? Yeah, that's fine, Jerry. I'll see you then. You know, so I went to a lot of conventions with Jerry, and he had so much wisdom. But I got to tell you about his house. If you've ever been in Jerry's house, it's ridiculous LSU. And he's backed up to a golf course. And I went to his house the first time years ago, and he had a piece of cardboard on one of the windows. And I was like, Jerry, this is unbelievable. And like, I'm walking from room to room. And I mean, when I tell you everything is LSU, everything except his, the thing he carried on the Olympics. That's the only thing in there. He had LSU, this tripped me out, and I always wanted this. He had LSU chess pieces. I'm telling you, everything was LSU, and he kept going. And you know, all his shirts were purple, green, purple, yellow, and gold, and gold, yellow, and purple. And I'd say, how do you know what shirt you're wearing? He goes, I don't. He'd say, I don't. It all matches, yeah, everything matches. But anyway, so I'm looking at his house, and I'm like overwhelmed, and I'm just walking around, and then his bathroom's a whole nother deal, and I'm not gonna talk about that. Yeah, his bathroom's a way different deal. And he goes, Lori, look at the ball. And I was like, okay, I will. Just no, Lori, now you need to look at the ball. And I said, okay, Jerry, I will, but let me look at this. No, come look at the ball. And finally I said, okay, Jerry, I fucking picked up the ball. Excuse me. And it was an LSU ball. Then it came through his window. I told him, I said, Jerry, we need to take a picture of your house and take it down to the clubhouse at the golf course, because they'll never believe where it landed. So we never did that, but we talked about it a lot. Anyway, I thought I was gonna cry, but I'm not. I miss Jerry, and this was his wish, and it's a wonderful day to be part of. Thanks, peace out.
Thanks, Lori. Let's go, Melanie. Come on, Mel. Come on, national championship.
Hello, everybody. I'm an addict named Melanie. Hi, family. I have a 14-year-old daughter. Her name is Melanie. She's 14. 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 She's Nikki, Ed, and Bella. He loved y'all more than anything else. He loved Narcotics Anonymous too, right up there with y'all. I miss Wednesday nights. Haven't gone to it. I guess about once since he passed away. But seeing him on my computer screen was pretty awesome. And he'd say, "Hey Mel, what have you been up to?" And then again, I remember him also at a regional speaker meeting. He shared a story about how he learned how to get down on his knees and pray. And that was from his sponsor, who suggested that he push his slippers up under the bed. So at night, he had to get down on his knees to put them under the bed. And then in the morning, he had to get down on his knees to get them out so he could put them on. And that's always stuck in my head. Another thing was him walking into the convention center when he had been honored with carrying the torch or running with the torch, and he walked in the doors with it. Wasn't lit, but thank God it wasn't, because he'd have burned the house down because he was so dang tall. But Jerry always had open arms for all of us. When I relapsed and I came back and I moved down here, he opened his arms. He said, "Mel, no matter what, you don't have to use again. And I will take that to my grave, one day at a time." Anyway, that's all I got. I love y'all. Thanks.
Thanks, Mel. Miss Jessie, come on up.
I'm an addict named Jesse.
Hey, Jesse.
I can do this. I met Jerry on right there on Beaumont. I wanted to come to an NA meeting, and he was standing outside. And I'd never been hugged in my life like that. I never had a welcome like that before, ever in my life. And he welcomed me. And I walked in the meeting and I looked at him and I said, "He's the only one in here. I can't stay up in here." And he saw me edging to go. And he came and sat right next to me. And he said, "You're in the right place." And I looked at him and said, "It's only you and me. You're in the right place." And on September the 12th, y'all, of 1994, after I met Jerry, for the last 28 years, I got that phone call. And on September the 12th of this year, my phone didn't ring. He always called me. And he always said, "Congratulations, Jesse, keep coming back." Faithfully, every year, throughout the year. If he didn't see me, he's gonna call me. Faithfully. We had a type of relationship that I've heard someone say I never ever had with a man before. He didn't want anything from me. He had nothing but something to give to me, with nothing in return. And I had never experienced that in my life till I came to Narcotics Anonymous and I met Jerry. Now I have to do the things that Jerry had stored in me, and service was one of them. And right when COVID hit, he called me. And then when they opened up and started letting us go, he said, "I haven't seen you." And I said, "I'm doing Zoom." He said, "But I haven't seen you." And I'm like, "But I'm on a meeting." He said, "But I haven't seen you." So he and I made a little thing to meet, because I told him I liked him. and we met up at the Ashton place right there on Perkins Road. And we had lunch, and he said, "No, I'm okay. I have seen you." And he always be in my heart. His memories is all I have. And they're all good memories. Fussing memories sometimes too, but I thank God for him. And I gotta say this, Lee, I'm looking at you. When first time I talked to you on the phone, I said, Jerry has to be his sponsor.
All right, who's gonna take over sending out the group text with 39 respondents in it? And then not the person whose birthday it's referencing, and then about 14 of you stupid people respond happy birthday, and it never gets to the person. Who's in charge of that now? All right. We'll talk about it later. Amy, come on up.
I know, 3 minutes? Yeah, right. My name's Amy and I'm an addict. And Paul, I'd like to say, I think the gay guy was named Dale.
Davis.
Dale.
Oh, it's Davis.
Oh, it was Davis?
It was Davis.
Oh, okay.
Bill.
Dale
Davis
died.
isn't out to anybody, so y'all keep it on.
Yeah. Nobody knows Davis. Yeah. All right. Anyway, my name's Amy. I'm an addict. I said that already. God, I'm not going to cry either because I haven't cried this whole time, I don't think, about Jerry because he was such an amazing man and had such an amazing life. And, there's no one word that can describe Jerry because other than everything. Because Jerry was everything, and I don't even know where that came from. God's talking to me. But me and Jerry had lots of laughs, through the years. Jerry was also a family member, like to me, not as close, but Jerry knew all my kids. Every time he saw me, he'd ask me, how's, and he'd name my kids by names, how they doing. Jerry, one of the first things that me and Jerry ever did as after a meeting was we went to Jerry's apartment in New Orleans East and had movie night. And me and my husband walked out to leave and my car was stolen. So we told Jerry we were not having movie night at his apartment anymore. He would have to come to my apartment. Then he did. And when he walked in, he saw my snake. And he freaked out because I didn't know that they used to torture him in Vietnam with snakes. So I had to take my snake and move it into another room. And then he wouldn't come to my house again until I got rid of my snake. Or if he did, I had to make sure the snake wasn't visible. So we did get rid of the snake. And, there's so many good times with Jerry going to the theater. He took me out to the theater. I mean, he knew me, he knew my husband. I mean, who says you can't have a date with another man when you're in the program and still married? Hey, this is the best of both worlds. You'd have that. There was nothing physically, sexually between me and Jerry, but we always joked about it. And one of the times was my daughter was going to LSU, and last minute she said, Mom, I think you need to be here for this weekend. And I'm like, you told me I didn't need to be there. And who do I call for a room last minute, the day of? Even though I had family members in Baton Rouge, I couldn't call them. But you know what? I could call Jerry. And Jerry said, sure, Amy, you can come sleep at my apartment, So then I go to sleep at his apartment when my daughter calls me on the way and says, Mom, I thought I paid for my room. Can I come sleep with you too at Mr. Jerry's? I said, yeah, let me call him and give him the heads up. So the gentleman that he is, I get there and I'm like, Jerry, she's gonna take this LSU couch. I'm gonna take the LSU recliner. Everything's fine. He's like, oh no, Amy, you sleeping in my bed. I'm like, Jerry, I am not taking your bed. We're fine. I'm fine on the recliner. She's fine on the couch. He goes, Amy, I've waited 25 years to get you in my bed. How can you say no to that, you know? So, yeah, and, Jerry was so special to us because he made us feel like we were so special to him, but in reality, we were all so special to him. You know, there will never be another person on this earth with as big of a heart of gold as Jerry Smith. Oh, one last thing. You have to learn last names because the first time he was hospitalized, I called the hospital looking for him. And the operator was like, well, what's his last name? I don't know, it's S. Can you look for Jerry S? And the lady's like getting so mad at me. I'm like, how many S's? Can't you just go through the S's? And then I remembered it was Smith. And Smith's such a common name. And I went, Jerry Smith. And the operator's like, yeah, right, you're lying to me. And she looks it up and you hear, oh my God, he's here. So I've always learned last names. Even though we usually don't go by them, it is always a good idea to know everybody's last names. But yeah, I can't say no more, than he will always have a special place in my heart and my family's hearts. And he was wonderful. He was absolutely wonderful. We can all strive to be like him, but I don't think I'll ever make the mark. Love y'all.
Thanks, Amy. All right, Jessica, come on up.
I'm Jessica, I'm an addict. The first time I met Jerry, I was at Open Mind. He stormed up to me and says, "Where's your sponsor?" And I'm new, so I'm still angry. And I'm like, "Hi, I'm Jessica." And that sparked a friendship that, I've never had before. We went on road trips together, hours of just getting to know each other. And he was an amazing man. And I remember last time I went to Baton Rouge to see him, he said, "Come on, let's go see Mike." I'm thinking, okay, let's go see one of your friends. It's a fucking, I'm gonna be a curse, it's a tiger at LSU. But I get anxiety. Thanks for sharing.
Good job, Jessica. All right, Adina, come on up.
Hey, I'm Adina and I'm an addict. I don't have any long stories with Jerry, but I remember that infectious laugh and that big, huge smile. But the first time I ever met Jerry, I remember Jerry born in Monroe, Louisiana. So coming up in my years, all colleges that I knew of were the HBCUs. And Grambling State University and Southern University were the only schools I knew about. So I meet Jerry for the first time. It's the first black man I ever seen in purple and gold. And I'm like, so, I came in with a closed mind. And I was like, well, why are you wearing purple and gold? You should be in black and gold or blue and yellow, for Grambling and stuff. He's like, open your mind. And this time, I don't even know what that means. But he said, keep coming. All right, well, I don't know what none of this means, because really, truly, I'm only here to stay out of penitentiary. I'm not here for what y'all got to offer, but his laugh and his smile is the thing that attracted me to him. And every time I would see Jerry, you get that same thing. And it didn't matter who you were, Jerry was like, he knew you all your life. He had a hug for you, open arms for you, and it was like,
welcome to my world, like Jerry's world. And Jerry's world, what I have come to find out, is a great world, because now I'm a part of the world. I've been a part of this world for 26 years. It's a wonderful world. Jerry said, keep coming. I kept coming. Thank you, Jerry. I think Jerry cursed me because my youngest daughter got a bachelor's and a master's from LSU. She called me and she said, I am not going to HBCU. Thank you, Jerry.
Dottie D, come on up.
Hey, I'm Dottie, I'm an addict.
Love you.
The first time I met Jerry was at a camp out, and I didn't know Jerry wore hearing aids. So I'm trying to talk to him, and he's not hearing me. So I said, do you have something in your ear? And he started cracking up laughing. He says, as a matter of fact, I do. And he showed me his hearing aids, and we just developed a beautiful friendship from there. And Jerry pretty much knows every innermost thought that I've had over the last 7-8 years, and we talked every day on the phone, you know, and he was my best friend. And I know that sounds weird to have like a 70-year-old best friend, but I do. I have so many memories of Jerry that it's so hard to just like pick one out. But I remember one time I was driving and a bird flew in front of me and I hit it. And so I called Jerry and I was very upset because I love animals. And he said to me, birds don't just fly in the cars. There was something wrong with that bird, you know, and that was just his way, you know, like everything has a purpose and this is God's purpose. And that was, you know, the Jerry that I know and love so much. And I miss him so much. You know, there's been so many times over the month where I wanted to pick up the phone and just, you know, say something sarcastic or whatever, you know, and I haven't had that opportunity, but I'm very grateful, you know, because I got to know a man that is so special. And so unique. I know we say we're not unique, but he was so unique to me, you know, and just a lovely man and a great friend and a great emotional support person. You know, that was my emotional support person. And I have so many fond memories that I carry with me in my heart forever. So I know he'll never leave. He's always going to be there with me. And he shared so many beautiful messages with me that I can take on and share to other people in Narcotics Anonymous, because that's what we do here. We carry a message, and he carried a really strong one. And I'm forever grateful to have him in my life. So, we love you, Jerry.
That was Jerry's ride or die partner. Every time you see one, it was the other one would show up. So that was good. Timmy, come on up.
My name's Timmy, I'm an addict. So I knew Jerry for about 39 years. And I went back out, and so I got back in 2009 after being clean for about 13 years, and Jerry was there. So I was released into a halfway house out of prison in Baton Rouge. I got clean here in Baton Rouge, and he was there. I don't know how he wound up back in my life, but he got a group of people together and to like welcome back to NA. You can do it. And so from then, he was my sponsor for quite a few years, and he was able to help me when nobody else good, practically. So, you know, he taught me a lot about service and giving back to the prisons. That was his big thing. And in so many other ways. I mean, he watched me grow from, you know, coming out of prison and working in a restaurant as a gopher, and then helped me succeed in getting back to being a boat captain on the river. He walked me through the whole process. He didn't do anything. He just encouraged me to continue on when I was ready to throw the towel in from dealing with the government. And in so many other ways. And, you know, shortly after getting my career back online and all, I had an accident, a pretty serious accident. Someone was killed. And he was the first person I called right in the middle of the process. And, you know, he said, come home, don't stay. You know, he just walked me through it and took me to a convention. And then during that whole period, it went on for 2-3 years with the government investigating. But he was there for the whole period of going through that and some other hardships. You know, and his message was consistent. It was always simple. It wasn't complicated. Because I was already complicating the whole thing. So he would walk me through the process, and it was always simple. You know, go to a meeting, call, do, you know, the simple things. It wasn't anything that I couldn't accomplish. And in that process, I had to go through court with some other stuff with my daughter being raped and all. So it was, to me, I didn't think I would make it. I really did not think I would survive the whole process of, you know, a double whammy. But I couldn't have had no more than about 3-4 years clean, maybe 5, something like that. I don't know. Time flies, though. I mean, it's just lose sight of all that. And Jerry was always there doing all of this, and so I love the man, and, you know, he took things to the grave that I would never tell anyone ever again. So, and nobody found out. So, you know, I didn't have anyone come run up to me and say, you know, I can't believe you did this. And so he was true. And, you know, the other thing, I was talking to someone who was talking about the void it's going to leave the whole thing of doing the prison meetings. So, and I was telling him, I said, Jerry taught us well. So we will continue to have these meetings for these guys. And it's extremely important. It was very important to him, and he left that with me, that I should continue on with carrying the message to these guys, because that's where I came from. I relate with all that, and I knew how important when the outside guys would come in, how important it was to have someone from the outside come in, so we could see that it's possible. So anyway, that's about it. Thanks.
All right, a fellow Tiger needs to come up now. Barry, come on up and say.
So, how y'all think this goes in Oxford, Mississippi? I'm gonna tell you, when you live in Oxford, Mississippi, and you wear this at Walmart, and the aisles are big enough, you know, for a couple of people to get through. And there's this, I'm just gonna say, this elderly lady pushing her little buggy. And we pass, And she just looks at me, because I'm decked out. And all she said was, asshole. There ain't no comeback for that. Yes, ma'am. All right, so, man, what an amazing human being. One thing I know about Jerry, the family in the back, he loved y'all. We talked often about y'all. And he loved you. Nikki, of course, I mean, Bella, Ed, Michelle, Lee. I mean, we had so many conversations about other people in private. Amy, another, I mean, God, I just look around the room. Mark, anytime he called me, because he called me more than I called him. Anyway. He would always ask about everybody in Oxford. I don't know how he knew all y'all's names, but everybody, Zach, Mark, Jessica, just Molly, Amy, just down the line, man. He was that kind of guy. You know, we've traveled this entire country, going to conventions. I've introduced him a bunch of times. He's introduced me at different conventions. We've traveled to so many football games across this beautiful, free world that we get to live in. And one thing that's really cool, you know that suit that out there that that's how we went to games together. I got one, he got one. And this is the God honest truth. Every stadium we've been to, we got interviewed. We was on TV. Like on TV. We flew out to UCLA last year. The news folks run up to you like, and Jerry would always say, dude, just slow down, bro. He said, just take it easy. Walk slow, man. I'm trying to get in the stadium wherever, you know, like I'm going to miss something. And it's like 3 hours before the game. Because he loved the sights. I'm going to tell you, law enforcement, we've taken more pictures with law enforcement at games than I can't even, like, it's unbelievable. So, y'all know he loved LSU. He loved the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. One thing he would always ask me, what's your service position? And I said, well, I'm still the treasurer. I've been on like 9 years in a row. One day they're going to, anyway. But he would always ask that, and he says, what about at your home group? You know, and my favorite thing and his favorite thing was to be there to make sure the meeting was open. I can't think of anything better to do than to be there like an hour before it starts, opening it up, coffee, everything, literature out. You know, he taught me that, to be early. An hour, Jared, like an hour. He says, yeah, an hour early, you need to be there. So that's what I still do. And sometimes my boss says, I got to sneak away from, look, I'll just ease out. Because I got to get to the meeting for 5 o'clock to make sure it's open. So, family, much love, and the fellowship, everybody here. You know, thank y'all for being here. Y'all are beautiful people. Everyone here is just shining, man. And he would say that too. So, go Tigers.
I moved back from Pensacola in 2014, and I moved back in August, and I got a phone call in September, and he said, do you want to come to the game with me? And I knew I had arrived. Of course I'd like to go to the game with you. Of course. Royal Command.
Hi everybody, my name is Joe and I am an addict. Happy Sunday. It's a great day to be clean. It's a great day to be around people that know me, that love me. I love you guys too. Let me get the record straight. Those of you who are around back when, let's say around 90, Jerry is not the reason I relapsed. Some people thought that. It's not true. Jerry and I were best friends back around that time, and we did a lot of things together. Tell you a little funny little story. We went to a lot of places where Jerry was asked to speak, to camp outs and stuff like that. And one day we were going to Mississippi for a camp out. He was real sick. He was like, man, God, I don't think I can do this. I told Jerry, don't worry about it. I've heard your story 1,000 times. I can tell it for you. All you gotta do is nod. Yeah. Jerry loved Narcotics Anonymous and service work. We did a lot of service work together. How we met Ed, doing some service work and going to meetings where people said, you know, we didn't have social media, we didn't have internet, we didn't have cell phones, but people were starting meetings in places that we never knew about. And Jerry had connections. He had phone numbers from back when in the 80s. He had a ton of phone numbers. But somebody would call and say, look, they're doing a meeting over in Lutcher, Louisiana. Anybody know where that is? It's on the river above LaPlace. And so Jerry said, look, there's a meeting going on over in Lutcher and they could do some support. So we would go and find it and show up, and sure enough, there was 5 or 6 people trying to have a meeting, and all they had was 5 or 6 people. But we had some experience in Hope, and we shared it with them, brought them some literature, stuff like that. That was the kind of thing that Jerry and I did together that was really pretty awesome. You know, it's like you talk about Narcotics Anonymous when it was new and young, how it grew. Grew with people like Jerry, who would seek out addicts who were trying to get clean and help them. And that's what we did. You know, it's like, what an awesome experience. I got on this group text, okay? I don't know how I got on it. I think because I told Jerry that 3 years ago I had a liver transplant. And we were talking about it. He said, you know, how do you feel? I said, well, shit. I said, you know, I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror. I said, damn, you look pretty. And then I'm crying at these commercials. It's like I cry over anything and everything. It's like, I think I got a woman's liver. And so I got on the group text. So every morning I get this meditation for women. And so yeah, I can relate. I really do. All I can say is that this is something that I know will never happen for me. I've never made a mark on this planet like Jerry did. Never touched as many people as Jerry has, and I'm proud to say he was my friend, and that I know I love him just as much as everybody who's here loves him. Thank you.
This is starting to feel like being picked for a team in high school. I know it's bringing up some feelings for some of you, especially the game kid up here. It's going to be okay, because I'm going to go to Edmund last because that suit is too pretty to not stay on the stage. Okay? So, Ronnie P, come on up.
Hey, my name is Ronnie. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate it, buddy. After this, when somebody said something, Jill said something about me coming up here speaking. I've known Jerry since 88, I think. And there's 2 things that always stick in my mind, and I'll tell anybody about Jerry. Every time I seen Jerry, he would come up to hug me, and the first thing he would say, damn, you ugly. And I just look at him like, Jerry, do you own a mirror? Have you ever looked at yourself? you know? And the other thing, and I don't know when he started this, but when I see him, especially when it's coming close to my anniversary, clean day, it's like, dude, you never brought me flowers to my clean day. You know, people would tell me, well, you know why? Like, yeah, I know why, but I just got to pick with him. You know, but this is the importance of this fellowship. Okay, because some things been alluded to and some things not been said, which is reality. But all the people that Jerry, and this is to his family, that he affected their lives in one way or another. Only through this fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous does stuff like that happen. Not only the people we meet and how we affect their lives indirectly or directly, you know, Jerry's black, I'm white. I'm from probably the most prejudiced place in the world, Livingston, Louisiana. Yeah, we were friends, you know, because that never was an issue. You know, one of the other stories about Jerry, I won't be able to go to Moonlight Madness the same anymore. Because every time I went to Moonlight Madness, Jerry knew I always cooked, and I cooked a bunch of stuff. And he would always come by and just all hang out. It's like, Jerry, you want to eat? Go ahead and eat, man. You know. But the other thing too, that years ago, this was back in 2006, I think, Barry, we were playing the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, and all of the season ticket holders were trying to get tickets, and it was like 2 nights before the game, and Jerry calls me, and I answered, and I'm picking at him. I'm like, dude, did you call me to tell me you got my ticket? Yeah. Well, I got you a ticket, but that's not why I called, you know? And I'm like, okay. So we go to New Orleans, we get to the Superdome, and we meet Harry and my mind just went blank, Donnie, you know, 2 guys from Mississippi to go to the game. We're sitting in the game before it starts, and Donnie and them's talking to this girl from Notre Dame who was playing, and she said something about, I bet they don't like this shirt I got on, and turned around and looked, I'm like, no, they from Mississippi, they don't care, you know, it don't matter to them, but I don't know. You know, the one thing about it too is if we stay clean and we live long enough, we're gonna lose people. And through recovery, we're able to say goodbye. You know, because a lot of us came here not knowing how to do that. And we learn from others, we say goodbye, and we keep on living our life. So my message to y'all is keep living, because he'll forever be with you. I love y'all.
All right, Donnie H., come on up.
I am Donnie Desperate, a real grateful addict, and my sobriety date is 4/14/18, so I'm real young. And I listen to all of you share talking about Jerry and all that I've heard. You know, you all have had long jeopardy with him, you know, but being a babe at this, it did not take me long to get to know Jerry. It really did. Coming to the program, you know, when I got here to Narcotics Anonymous, you know, one of the first greatest ones, and there are many, but Roy was one that I met, and then I couldn't meet Roy without meeting Jerry. And meeting Jerry, then I met Larry. And when I got here, you know, I for real, I looked at like a dried up lizard. but because of Narcotics Anonymous and these people in my life, you know, they say this is not by promotion, it's by attraction. And I was attracted to them. And I draw close to them. There were times when they allowed me to even sit and dine with them. What an honor to be able to have such great mentors in my life, you know, that I can see how it works. And then I perceived when I first got in, I also heard him say, sit the hell down and listen to learn and learn to listen. I began to do just those things. And I'm still here and I'm grateful that I do not have yet a relapse in my story because of you all. Y'all keep me, I can't keep myself, and I owe a great debt to Narcotics Anonymous for showing me how to live life on life terms, one day at a time. If I just do it one day at a time, I'll be all right. I'm gonna be brief. I think I'm gonna see them and get up out of here. But I just want to drop a little sweet, quick message into the families' lives, you know, something that I can give. And so all of us, because all of us are family, the race is not given to the swift, nor to the strong, but to the one that endures till the end. There may be problems, and sometimes you walk alone, but I know things will work out. Yes, it will, for the good of them who love the Lord. Eyes have not seen, neither have ears heard things He has prepared. No matter what the problem, you can't solve them, but it will work out. Yes, it will, for the good of them who loves the Lord, who loves the Lord. La 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 la, who loves the Lord, who loves Narcotics Anonymous, who loves this process. Yeah. God bless you. All right. Let's see. Rondi, come on up. Added wrong. Paul was right. I did think I was going to be laughing. And I was okay with that. Because as I was sitting there, I was thinking of all the times that I've had with Jerry. And, you know, just too numerous to mention all of them, but a couple of my favorites. We were at a convention in Decatur, Alabama, Out of the Darkness. And Jerry was the speaker. And I said, Jerry, I come all the way to Alabama to hear you. I've heard you like 25 times. And it just so happens he got laryngitis. I said, don't worry, Jerry. I'll go up there and I'll tell him your story. But the whole time, the convention, he was like not talking so he could save his voice. And of course, the way me and Jerry were, I was saying, Jerry, how you doing? How you getting? Jerry, you nervous? What's the matter? You talking to me? You mad at me? What's up, Jerry? And I think at that same convention, he was in the restaurant and somebody came in and gave him an Alabama t-shirt. He did not think that was funny. But one thing I'm really grateful for is Jerry instilled in me a passion for H&I, and going into the prisons and into the treatment centers. I used to go up to CARP when they went in there, and then I'd call him and he'd come to Hammond and do Fountain Blue. Then he got me hooked on the prisons. And it just amazes me how much I get back when I'm trying to give back.
week before he passed, we went into DCI and we took in some literature for him. And, you know, these guys, they have a meeting whether we show up or not. But when we're in there and they go around the room, it's a regular meeting. They share, and if it gets to the point where it looks like the people that come in aren't going to get a chance to share, they'll start passing and just saying their name so that it'll get around to one of us. And he died that Wednesday, and me and Will went to the prison because we thought that's what he would have wanted. And we told the guy in there, said, you know, that other guy comes with us, he won't be coming anymore. And before they had the meeting, they had that moment of silence for Jerry. But, you know, these are guys in there that got 20 years life. Some of them do get out, but the looks on their faces when we get there, they're so happy to have somebody from the outside come in. And Jerry was committed to that ferociously. And I know one thing, I'm going to keep going in just in his memory. And one story he always liked to tell, and I'm not going to tell a story because I can't tell it as good as him, but if you did any H&I with him, you know, he always liked to tell the story about the monkey in the jungle. If you don't know it, do some H&I in here.
Thanks, Ron. Arthur, come on up.
Hello, I'm Arthur. I'm an addict. You know, I spent about 8 years in another state, and I came back here in 2012. But I remember Jerry before I left, you know, and I started. I really got clean the first time in 2006, and I had a relapse, and I had 4 years clean again before I left. And I remember Jerry from that period of time, and then it was going on and come back. Jerry was always had a smile on his face. He was always warm and friendly and treated you, you know, so terrific, you know. You know, we need more people like him, you know. I wish I could emulate, you know, how he carried himself and, you know, treated people, you know, so I don't know. I know he's going to be sorely missed. You know, I really don't know what to say. So many people have said so many great things about the man, and all I know is that he's been around for people in this program since I can remember, since I've been around. And I think a lot of people up here, you know, that's been up here said all that needs to be said about him. You know, I don't know. All I can say is that I think we should take a moment of silence to remember Jerry. I remember the last time I saw him was on the Zoom meeting for the pre-Christmas night of fun. You know, and the next Zoom meeting we had, it said that you know, the host was not present in the meeting. You know, and that's my last memory of Jerry, was at that Zoom meeting. So let's take a moment of silence for Jerry. Do what you want with it. And
Thank you, Arthur.
Christine, come on up.
My name is Christine. I'm an addict. Somebody came around earlier. I was like, "You want to be on the list?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to share." I was like, "I'll read something." And then when we came in here and Paul said, there's some more chairs if anybody wants to show up, and they were like, go up there, Christine. I was like, nah, I'm good. And I looked up here and there was nobody from our area. It's from every other area that Jerry was a part of, and so I was like, I gotta go up there. And I wanted to start off with, because I know y'all missed some, I'm gonna start reading all the daily text messages from over the years. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. But I was looking on my phone through it for a little bit and trying to say things, you know. Jerry's home group, I've been here, it'll be 11 years next week. And his home group has always been in the Bayou Recovery area since I've been here. And I wanted to make sure someone spoke on his service to that area of Narcotics Anonymous. And after he passed, I started thinking about like how there had to be more than one Jerry. There's no way that Jerry was just one person. He knew so much about so many people. He knew everybody's clean date, everybody's phone number, everybody, where they're from, what they're going through. He knew how to call people, and he was at every function. He was at every convention. He was at anything. It was like Jerry was always there. And it's like, I can't even show up to my home group during the week because I got to take my kids somewhere to do something. It's like, but he was at his home group and he was at the function and he knew what was going on. He knew how to call you and check up on you. And it was like he was just amazing like that. I've never known anyone to be in so many places at one time that Jerry was. I'm reading from my notes that I was writing up here. And on top of that, he would do what everyone needed. I don't think I've ever heard him tell anyone no, especially if you were a female. And, he's been the most willing man. If anybody needed anything for NA especially, he would say yes. And he would definitely delegate somebody if he couldn't do it. Like Melissa, I can't remember. Melissa, she was saying that she was going to LSU, and I'm in school, and I've been in school for a long time, and he's always, every time I see him, he's like, when are you going to graduate from LSU? And I'm like, Jerry, I'm not in LSU. Sorry, dude. But I'll finish everything one day, you know. LSU was his thing. I wanted to share one little story. My husband passed when I tried to get clean for about a year, me and my husband at the same time. It took me a year to get clean, and so we got to know Jerry very well. And he passed, he had went back out after being clean for a year, and I called my sponsor on the way to the house when I got the phone call. And she was on the way back from a vacation, and so she was a few states away, and she said, call Jerry. I was like, okay. I don't remember that phone call. I don't remember calling Jerry, but within 20 or 30 minutes, Jerry was over there. And Jerry and another person that isn't here, or wasn't a member, he just sat there with me for hours, with me and his family, while the cops, the coroner came and took him, and all that. And Jerry just sat there, and I just remember now him just being there. And I'm like, I don't remember me calling him. I don't remember when he got there. I do remember his car with the flags in the front yard and whatnot. And then he must have sat there for like 5 hours. And then he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go now. And he just knew that I needed someone from NA there, and he was there for me. He was there not only for me, but for so many other people. And when he passed, it's gonna be something, that's what I thought of, like how
Jerry had a way to make every single person feel like they were not only the most important person in the room, but like the most important person in the world. How, like, I would talk to him, and he's like, he would look at you and just make sure you knew you had all of his attention. And most of the time it was like, Christine, where you been? And like, sorry, I got things going on, and they're gonna miss you. And I wanted to show, because I've been giving out drinks, but when I was about like 3 years clean, he gave me these awesome shoes, and I almost gave them away. I had them in like because I only wore them once, and I don't watch LSU. And I wore them once to a meeting and coffee before, and so I went looking for them after I found out about him passing, and couldn't find them. And 3 days ago, I found them in my garage in a box, and he said, I also have a big picture frame when after Jared had died, the next clean date, he's made a big picture of me and my daughter. It's a whole collage, and he gave it to him. I'm like, Jerry, I don't think I've ever given Jerry anything, and he didn't care about those things. He just cared about being there for you, and knowing that you meant so much to him. So I wanted to share that, how involved he was at every area, always opening meetings in our area, even if it was just him and Elmore, him and whoever on a Saturday morning, right? Saturday, yeah. For months and months and months. Nobody, new meetings. He's like, oh, I'm gonna keep opening this meeting because somebody's gonna show up. And he did it. So Jerry was very influential in my life, my kids' lives. He always asks about my kids. My fiance now. I just wanted to share that. I know it's 4 o'clock, so thank you, and I'll miss Jerry.
All right, Bobby, come on up.
We got some people in here today. You hit me with your legs, man. But I ain't care. I like being last. That's when you get the good stuff. All the flavors at the bottom. My name's Bobby, I'm Ed. And I'm actually grateful to be a part of this. You know, I met Jerry in 1986 at the VA hospital. Him and my dad used to go to a meeting together at the VA hospital. You know, he used to call me badass. Me and my little brother. And it was a bonus because like we'd see him at a Wednesday night meeting at the VA. Then I'd see him again on a Friday night. That was hustle night for me at 9 years old at our place. Because I used to get people. I swore I'd never go back there. You know, 2011, I was doing H&I meetings in Angola. You know why? Because they told me I had to do what they were doing in order to live. You know, because for me, when I came into Narcotics Anonymous, I got clean in 2004 in the penitentiary. Why I got abstinent from drugs. Let me say that. My behaviors didn't change whatsoever. I was still stealing and lying. But when I started actually working a program and taking the suggestions, because I remember Jerry told me one time, he's like, clean people go to jail. Well, I did that too. You know, and he called that. You know, and I learned through this process and not just hearing what my predecessor says by following, doing. There's a reason why they do that. You know, in Narcotics Anonymous, we don't try to set you up to fail. You know, they try to set us up to win. And I never realized that. You know, I went up there, I got called. I was at a buddy of mine's house who was dying of cancer. And I got called. Well, someone called me and told me what was going on with Jerry. Well, they had rushed him to the hospital. And I called a whole bunch of people because he's one of my sponsor brothers and my sponsor family. And I told them what was going on. And I remember I called Lee P and he said he was heading to Baton Rouge from Florida. And I told him, I'll meet you there. And that's what we do. We show up. No matter what. Even when life's showing up for you, you show up for them. So I got nothing but good memories with him, even though I was a little bastard. I used to snatch his head, fuck my finger up, you know. But I mean, we come in here, and Narcotics Anonymous for me is about love. That's what it's about. Like, I haven't seen nobody in the meeting get set up. None of that shit. Not now. I knew back when I was a kid, boy, it was rough and rugged. It was getting knocked out. It was making side bets on who's gonna win. And now it's different. It is. You know, I heard somebody say it, the cell phones and all that shit. Yeah, they didn't have all that back then. They used to have a payphone and a meeting room in Kenner. It was a fucking booth. You know, and I used to do that store 7-6 shit, and make the phone ring while the meeting was going on. You know, and I'm guilty. I made Narcotics Anonymous. A couple home groups have to change meeting places. You know, remember that? You know, this was the thing that the big picture for me is this. I didn't know that my predecessors was holding a chair for me. Because I was a late bloomer. I didn't start using until I was 21 years old. You know, and for a long time I thought I was different because I heard that's what they said they used when they were young. You know, and I used because I didn't want to face me. You know, so I do what I don't want to do. I don't like coming up here talking about people that passed away. You know, y'all fucked around and gave me some feelings, and now I get feelings toward men. Not that kind of feelings. I still for a long time. Lee P, Paul, Iron Bill, I went with these fucking guys. You know, and I watched the work they do to get it. You know, I watched the work Jerry did. She was sharing about all the meetings. I used to watch that man pop up at one meeting, be there 15, 20 minutes, go to another one to watch somebody else pick up a chip. You know, pick up their medallion. Like, that's what we did. So, thanks for letting me share.
Pamela, come up here.
I'm Pam F, and I'm an addict, and I really want to say my little butt hurt from sitting down in that chair. I am 64, and you can't sit it down in a chair like that for long. You know, when I came in 1986, right behind Jerry didn't have that much time. So Jerry was not that like recovered. So if Jerry, he liked all the women that haven't changed. If a woman asked him to do something, he did it, but he wanted something. Jerry was trying to get his groove on back there. I don't know what the new girl's talking about, but Jerry wanted more than just thank you, hug. It was not like that. No, it was not. You know, I think as he kept coming and he kept staying and working on himself, his motives for helping began to change. You know, and I was the gay girl back there, so I could be his friend. But that did not mean he did not try a lot. And I'm like, well, Jerry, I'm gay. I know, but you're so fine. Come on, you wanna go eat? Come on. You wanna do this? Come on, you wanna go to my house? No way I'm going to your house. I'm not going to your house, Jerry, because I already knew what it was going to be about. He wanted me. And but I've watched him change along the way, and I've enjoyed watching him with the new women and encouraging them. But I made a decision. I am the ebony and all that ivory. So I was his ebony. That's too much ivory. And but I love the fact that, and you know, and somebody said Jerry was blacker than black. I'm black, and I know black, so he was black. And I'm like, how can this be? He is black, and you know, this can't be real. And I kept coming, and I kept paying attention. It was real. You know, Narcotics Anonymous is a place where you really don't see the color line. You just see what's in the heart. And when we say, I need help, we just help. And this is where I learned that, and Jerry helped me. The thing I wanted to share, right before COVID, I was going back to Africa to an East Africa convention of Narcotics Anonymous. And Jerry found out, and Jerry called and he said, I want to come. And I'm thinking, Jerry, you want to come where? I want to go with you to Africa. I'm like, okay. And I was a little afraid because at that point, Jerry had been going to the doctor quite a bit. Because whenever he come to New Orleans, his doctor's appointments, he would call me or we would have lunch or something like that. So, and Africa is quite a ways away, right? And I was a little concerned about taking him with me, but I knew in his heart of hearts, it was important to him. So I'm like, okay, here, Jerry, you can come. And so I said, but we're going to go into 2 days early. We're going to the hot springs. Then we're going to in Arusha. Then we're going to go on a safari for 3 more days. Then we're going to go to the convention in Tanzania. Then we're going to turn around, Jerry, and we're going to go to the coast in Zanzibar. And we're going to stay there for 4 days. Jerry, this is not just a 3-day trip. I know, Pam, I got this. I'm coming. I'm doing everything you do. And I'm like, okay, Jerry, this is about a 2-week deal. And I'm like, and Jerry was not into modern technology. No. So I'm like, Jerry, you have to go on the site. You have to, you know, we talk and we communicate on Facebook. We have a East Africa Facebook page and we all are communicating about who's doing what, when, how, you know, we getting it together. Pam, just listen. I'm sending you this credit card. You take care of everything. I'm like, but Jerry, how you gonna go to Mount Kilimanjaro? Pam, I'm coming. So I'm like, oh my God. So he helped me to realize that I was responsible. Jerry decided, I'm coming with you, and I know you are going to take care of me. Then it got serious to me because I'm responsible for a predecessor, right? Predecessors always helped me. But now I have to be responsible and get Jerry in there, make sure Jerry is safe, make sure he's well, make sure he has a good time, and get him home safely. And COVID hit. And I realized, because my wife is a medical director, and they had the first case of COVID, so I realized that it wasn't safe to go anymore, not even for me. And I dreaded telling Jerry, we have to cancel. I really didn't want to tell him that because all he would talk about was going, and he was so excited about going to Africa. But I knew I had to do the responsible thing and say, Jerry, we can't go. And I was praying as we talk periodically, and I was hoping that we can eventually go again and this happen. I was looking forward to helping him with that dream, because that was one of his dreams that he had.
And I was real nervous, but I'm not really nervous anymore. I want to say this for the newcomer. If you've never been to a convention, go, because that's how I met Jerry. And it's helped keep me clean through the years too. I'm part of the No Matter What Club. I don't use No Matter What. And I was invited to go to a convention with Denise T. that was living in Hammond going to college. I don't think she's here, but she bailed on the last minute, and I ended up going with Jerry, and I didn't even know him. And I met Michelle and Barry, and we all stayed in a room together. We were strangers, and that's how I met Jerry. And, you know, Pam's right about Jerry. He liked the women, and, you know, that's not a bad thing. It's just the truth. He used to buy all of us flowers for our birthday celebration, and it really meant a lot to me and a lot of other women. It made us feel really special. And whoever thought about the flowers out there today, thank you, because they were in good taste and Jerry would love them. And Jerry's brought me flowers a few times, and I was disappointed. He put a birthday thing out for my last birthday, which I had 16 years clean, and the last couple of years have been a real struggle for me due to my son that is in prison. And thank God for all you guys and women, whatever, that go to the prison. Thank you, because I never thought in a million years that my son would be in prison. And but anyway, I'm grateful for that. And I want to say this. I feel a little nervous right now. I want to say the happiest time that I ever saw Jerry. Oh, I want to say this first. My nickname for Jerry was Ho Dog, because I'm a rebel, and I got in a relationship when I had 6 months clean, and then I got married. So the first 10 years of my recovery, I was in a relationship, and Jerry used to make my ex-husband so aggravated, because he's like, Kat, if it don't work out with you and Mason, I got you, Kat. It would make him so mad. But, you know, Jerry and I were strictly platonic. I love Jerry. He had a real hard time during COVID. I talked to him a lot, and he sent me flowers during COVID, because he called me and told me he was depressed. And I was debating on whether I was going to tell this story or not, but I don't care if y'all judge me or not. I really don't. He called me and said, Kat, I'm so depressed, this COVID thing. You know, I got diabetes and I can't go anywhere. And I was kind of bored during COVID, so I was trying on my bathing suits and taking pictures. And I sent him a picture of me in my bathing suit, and he sent me flowers during COVID. And guess what? I didn't realize it until today, but it was a purple bathing suit that I was in. But, you know, it did cheer him up, so that was my point. But the happiest time that I ever saw Jerry was when we had his birthday celebration at Paul's, and Pam and Angel and all the girls were dancing around him, singing to him. I'll never forget that. He was so happy, and I'm sorry I didn't go to the hospital for when Jerry was in there, but I've seen a friend of mine that had an aneurysm before, and I don't want to remember him like that. And anyway, this program is an awesome program, and I'm so grateful I came today, because I really didn't want to. I was in my feelings, and you know, I felt so disconnected, but I don't anymore, and I love y'all. And oh, by the way, never alone ever again. And Edmund was on the front row, and he looked back and he said, Kat, don't leave me up here alone. So this is a we program. I love y'all.
All right, we saved the best for last. Come on up. This is too great. Edmond, everybody!
I'm Edmund, I'm an addict. I'm gonna get a 3-minute duck along here. You all wanna go home? There you go. It's real, it's real. One thing I do know is I'll never wear this damn suit again. It is the first time. I was going back and forth with Jill about, I ain't got no purple and gold. What's this dress code bullshit and all that? Sending pictures. And she said that's a yellow rose boutonniere short of perfect. That's how I got it. So there we go. Anyway, enough about me. Well, I can't say much about Jerry that has been said here. You know, I mean, I met Jerry, I had to seek Narcotics Anonymous. You know, when it's time for me to get clean, my little life fell apart. It looked real good on the outside. You know, I had a wife and 2 kids and lived in La Place, okay, and treatment centers in New Orleans sent us to another fellowship. And this will sound like a real cheap dig, but I'm gonna say it. I went near the fellowship and there's a guy claiming 3 years clean that was selling weed for me, okay? Hey, I said, this is not the place for me. So I went to the city of New Orleans and started looking for Narcotics Anonymous. I was told it was Narcotics Anonymous meetings. I said it because it's true, y'all. There, that's what happened to me. Not to say there wasn't good recovery there. But I knew I still had weed. I still had pills. I still had all this crap stashed in a little warehouse, hidden away. And I needed a program of total abstinence, and I needed it to found it with Narcotics Anonymous, with some place without loopholes. And along with finding that place without loopholes, I met some folks. And, you know, one was Jerry. There was no NA in New Orleans, and guess what I was told? You know, like that old building, they will come. You know, so I got involved and started. I think I started 3 meetings, but the conveniently nights that I could go. You know, and I'll be damned if the first meeting, Nancy, you came. Fit for Life. There you go. It was in a gym. A couple of us got together and started a meeting. And Jerry showed up with more than just Nancy. Okay, there were 4 and 5 people at least every time I threw a freaking meeting would show up to try to keep these meetings going. And I remember having to shut one of them down. And Jerry told me, you know what? I mean, if all NA meetings aren't meant to last, sometimes they have to shut down. About 3 minutes are about up, you know, but, you know, Jerry goes a lot deeper than that with me, but I've done a whole lot of service work, you know, just at Christmas parties and regional conventions and all this kind of bullshit. That's my alarm. I never, ever went looking for service work. I never, ever volunteered for service work. I just never turned it down when I was asked to do it. I got asked to do it. And Jerry was involved with a lot of that. Mr. Head, why don't you do it? So anyway, we'll all go home. It took Jerry dying for me to sit next to Cat Kathy for an hour. He like that. And hope it doesn't take that again. Thank you.
Love you.
All right, the poet Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you did, people will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Right. Jerry, as was evidenced this afternoon, made us feel good. And in this world, we need more Jerrys. So when you feel judgy, think of Jerry. When you feel intolerant, think of Jerry. When you feel like you can't do another damn thing, think of Jerry. It is my honor to present his niece Greta for a few words.
First, I want to say thank you. When I walked into the hospital on August 22nd, I knew that our family was small. In that ICU waiting area, the numbers grew and grew and grew. It's like, who are all these people? everybody welcomed us, told us who they were, and advised us, if you didn't know before today, you know now that Jerry had another family. So I want to thank you all for sharing the stories today and welcoming us into your world to see what Narcotics Anonymous is all about and for sharing your stories. I also want to remind all of you that even though he's not going to be here to remind you, to keep those words of wisdom that he's brought into your world, hold those and cherish those. And whenever you're falling short, or if ever you're just not feeling that confidence that you would normally feel day to day, just remember those words of wisdom that he shared with all. I want to say that, when we come into the world, we're tasked with certain things. We may not know our calling or what our responsibility is going to be, but I think from listening to the stories today, we know what his calling was. So with that, I'll say, job well done, Uncle. And again, I thank you all for sharing the stories with us today and making us feel a part of his other family. So with that, I'll say that hopefully the family bond won't end here. I know that since we've met most of you, we continue to get text messages, phone calls, and other means of correspondence, and let that continue. And if we can help you all in any way, we want that family bond to continue to remain. So again, I say thank you for making us welcome, making us feel welcome. And again, thank you for sharing that wonderful legacy of Uncle Jerry. Thank you.
It must be in the DNA. So we come to the conclusion. We're going to have a few words, and then I'll come back out and lead us in the closing prayer, okay? We're almost there, folks. All right. His daughter, Nikki.
I'm Nikki Manatic. And I just wanted to take us out with some words of gratitude, really. First of all, to the staff here at the Theater Baton Rouge, Carol and Kenneth especially. Thank you guys. You've been exceptional over the last month with all the unbelievable worrying we did about details, and you guys really killed it. This has been so meaningful to have this celebration here. This place meant a lot to Jerry, and so we appreciate that. I know that we're all here today to celebrate together because we lost a legend. And I think it's really important that we leave here, we make that suffering have meaning. And I could go on and on with stories, but you probably already heard them because Jerry was really good about telling stories and sharing his life with us. So, when I think about Jerry, I just think about like a gentle giant, really, and somebody who managed to make me a more peaceful person. Every time I felt I was around him and I would be wound up, he wouldn't even tell me to calm down. He'd be like, yeah, Nikki, yeah, and then you would just calm down. It was like, human Xanax, I don't know. But one thing Jerry did, he didn't just tell me things, he showed me. He showed me how to be vulnerable and to ask for what you want and to know that with great love comes great loss. And to love anyway. And, again, thinking about just the gift of time, he made you feel like we weren't rushed. He always had enough time for you no matter what was going on. Ultimately, Jerry left me better than he found me. I'll be forever grateful. And this is a grand finale, but it's going to be a lot of encores because we're all going to take a little piece of Jerry and we're just going to keep doing an encore after this day. Any of you guys that aren't technologically savvy, Jerry included, he probably wouldn't have been able to see all the details in that Evite either. There were details in there about how to make a donation to the Theater Baton Rouge in his honor if you'd like to do that. And as everybody shared, he was really passionate about H&I for the prisons. There's a link in there to share with the Bayou area of recovery too, if you're moved to do that. Jerry taught us how to stay clean, and he taught us how to live big, and now it's time to go do that.
All right, everybody, there's a lot of food left over. Please feel free to take to-go boxes and take the food with you. We don't want to leave it here, so please do that. Also, there are roses available. Please take the roses with you. Let's stand. And just hold on to somebody next to you. Let's have a moment of silence for Jerry, his family, and the fellowship just gathered here and on Zoom. And we'll close with the third step prayer. Jerry and many before us have said, take our will in our life, guide us in our recovery, show us how to live clean. Keep coming back. Thank y'all.